Huh. I guess my dark shadow will fall across this the whole time. Like the shadow of Nosferatu. Okay. Before I do this last lit crit, art crit, film crit section, don't worry, I won't repeat those believers from the previous video. I already talked about those. There's a lot of magazines. I want to show you something cool I found. So I picked up this abridged Democracy in America at a thrift store today. Got a couple of novels for the Gap on the novel case too, and the paperbacks. Anyway, shadow was bugging me. So I got this abridged version of Democracy in America by Alexis de Tocqueville, famous early document of a foreigner's impression of the new-ish country. And, you know, man, history is just interesting to me. The history of America is interesting. And, anyway, so when this edition was new, look, 1956. And inside it was this. Look, it's a bank receipt of some sort, but for a deposit for, it looks like, $58.22. I don't see a year on there. But that could be from the same year that book was printed. The books will sometimes sit for many years in warehouses. I've seen receipt proof of that in old books before they're sold as new. I love finding stuff in books. All right, let's check out the stuff on this shelf. I'm never going to be happy with these shadows. Okay, it's a book about R.E.M. R.E.M.'s a great band. R.E.M. feels like my family. Same with Talking Heads. Just like, these are bands like I will always defend and love. One time I had to like tell some people that were saying negative, dismissive stuff about R.E.M. I had to like bear my testimony of R.E.M. I totally killed the vibe at a party. I was like, I'm sorry, you can't make fun of that band. In that way, you're being ignorant. Let me tell you why. Oh, here's like, what a cool idea. That's a great idea for a book. Cubism, its impact in the USA, 1910 to 1930. I want to know about that. This is a cool book. Man, I freaking love books. You know, I know people, I watched like a negative video today about people regarding books as just objects, but like books are also objects, and they're really cool as objects. I love them. There's a book about zines. I used to be so into zines. I once did a complete survey of Albuquerque's zine scene. This is back in the day when they were a little more obscure here in town in the earlier 2000s. And they really thrived here in the 90s. They were very central in Albuquerque. There was a place called Mind Over Matter that was kind of a famous zine distro. Zines being self-published little magazines, usually made with a post-commodity mentality of like giving them out, leaving them places, you know, making very little on them. Zines they're real DIY, and they're really for the love of it. And I will always probably make zines. Just once in a while I'll be like, I should make a zine about that. One of the last zines I did was a series of neighborhood newsletters, and it was like a total history of this block of 14 houses that I lived in. And I only gave out 14 copies to all the houses on the street, and that was it. It was like this hyper-local publishing experiment. Because zines are cool, you can do stuff like that with it. And I think it elevated the consciousness of the whole street, because we all suddenly had an awareness of our mythic context. Larger ideas, which I like wrote about as well. Anyway. Okay, this is one reason I kept the zine anthology too. This has the most hilarious piece of writing in it. It's Huckleberry's been retold. Mr. Peanut, the peanut company mascot, is on the raft with them. It is hilarious. Pause this video and just read it all. Oh, check this out. Yeah, this is like one of those books where I was like, well, yeah, obviously I'm going to pick this up when I see this. It's just so interesting about this specific kind of architecture I never thought about separately. Those like white castle towers. There's a couple of these in Albuquerque. Probably not officially, but like they give a similar architectural impression. Here's another one of my older sister's Talking Heads books, also with a happy ending. The band's doing great, and they'll be putting new music out together for years. The end. Miro. Joan Miro, The Development of a Sign Language. Oh yeah, this is a theme I was kind of on for a while, because I did this really cool art project called June Reading a City. It's a chapter of my book where I went around. Oh, jeez, never mind. It just had a lot to do with like public text and words in public and visuals in images and so on. I don't need to tell you the whole story, but that'll be in my book eventually. But yeah, so I was really on this trip here. Sign, text. Magritte has good writing on that. Duchamp has good writing on that. Man, I like weirdo freak art. I like it all. Bring it on. Oh, these research books are such great counterculture. I don't know, what do you call them? Works. But they're just excellent. I mean, they're really cool. They're usually around this theme. They're like a pretty wild group out of San Francisco. But they have a number of zine books, and I have some of those. They have a lot of interview books, really books of strange things, etc. Volume 1 zines. Yeah, I acquired every zine anthology for a while. I've given many away, but still have some. So into the zine scene. Yeah, I did this survey of the whole city's zines. There were like 30 that I could find. This was back in like 2008 or something like that. It was right before the International Zine Festival was established here. And Age of Enlightenment. I think I went through this when it was on another shelf, maybe. But I don't know. Some of us, we find everything interesting. And if it's a part of the human experience, it's a part of our experience, that's us. And so it's all kind of interesting to me. And the Enlightenment is something pretty awesome. Sometimes I feel like people threw away all that era's knowledge and discovery, and it's good to, I don't know, it's cool to think about a time when everybody was collectively really thinking and elevating their thinking. Not everybody, but like lots of people. It really was like a renaissance in thinking. Kind of cool. That's like a Titus Andronicus album title. Intellectual Ferment in the Salons of Paris. Oh, here's another Joseph Cornell book. Joseph Cornell is so great. Oh, this one has great color plates in it. Of his shadow boxes. Oh man, freaking Joseph Cornell. Dude, this guy's art is so right up my alley. I'm like, yes, that is what I want art to achieve in my brain. So modern, so cool. Okay, black and white, keep going. That one's so cool. I love the doll and the... Oh wait, is that the one? Sorry, everybody. Yes, I love this one. That one's so good. Like, come on, doesn't that evoke stories or a tone or something? I want to see that movie. This is a really cool book. I got this out the other night after seeing that new movie about Dylan. It's kind of gimmicky, but the gimmick is an effective one, and I like it for what it is. Comes with a CD. I'm sure I've listened to that before. But then it has all these replicas of historic Dylan memorabilia, like a lyric sheet. That's so cool. This was a gift from my dad a long time ago, and at first when I got it, I was like, "What? This is like a toy book, And but it's so cool. It's so neat to have the tactile experience of seeing these like historic artifacts. I remember seeing some stuff like this at the Rock and Roll Museum in Cleveland. Okay, I already looked at this somehow, but it's very cool. Anything about ancient stuff, I'm all about. I want to know the ancient world. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Hitchcock fan, but, I recognize him as a master of the craft. And if you accept him for what he is and what he's doing, it's, you'll be entertained. And There's a lot going on there. I don't know. I always like reading about the greats. And I do love some of his movies. Psycho is incredible. I mean, that's my favorite. Let's see. But film study books are a lot of fun. It's all about story. 40,000 years of music. You know what's cool? Music. Music's pretty awesome. I forget that sometimes. I listen to so much like podcast type stuff. And I'm like, you know what is even better than listening to people talk? Listening to amazing music. Like, I didn't plan on this, but I'm like obsessed with that song, Birds of a Feather from Billie Eilish. I heard that on the radio and I'm like, this is such a beautiful freaking pop song. I like played it like 10 times today. What? Music is amazing. And this book is cool. It goes back to like vulture bone flutes. And I've spent a little time with this book and I want to read it all sometime. Look at that. It's freaking beautiful. Look at this pop art masterpiece. Dang. That was from like a free box. This book's incredible. Part 3, In Search of Secular Music. Oh, awesome. Ancient Illustration. Oh, man. I used to really love the AV Club. I commented on there all the time as Mike Strange. I had thousands of comments on their message boards, their comment sections. They had this book club called Wrapped Up in Books that I loved. And like, I thought if they had stuck around longer, I might have like been able to transition into writing for them. Because that happened with a video game reviewer over there. And so I knew it was possible. Zach Hanlon. And, but anyway, this book has some great interviews. I used to have a huge collection of Onion and AV Club books. And I got rid of almost maybe all the Onion books with one or two, except, no, maybe all of them. Yes, okay. Wow, that was like my favorite thing for a long time. But last time I was looking at them, I was like, I don't really need these anymore. Humor doesn't always age super amazing. But these interviews some of them are really good. I love interviews with creators and stuff. Isn't it cool to know about all this stuff? Like, this is just the greatest series of films of all time. And this is the only book that I know of from that series. 42 Up. The 7 Up movies, if you don't know, are these documentaries about these kids that they check in with every 7 years through their whole life, from age 7 to age 63. And they're incredible. I found them through Roger Ebert's Great Movies review. And they're incredible. I saw 63 Up in the theater. But then the director died, so are they going to keep going? I don't know. It's like one of the greatest things that's ever existed in film. It's so fascinating. It's just like humanity. I mean, it's life. It's crazy. It's epic. This book is good too. It's basically a transcript of 42 Up. Oh man. Yeah, Truffaut is such a good director. I've seen like half of his movies. He's just great. Truffaut. 400 Blows is so good. It's such a good movie. And that whole series is wow. The Dictionary of Cultural Literacy, what every American needs to know. Oh, it's got like historic facts, etc. John Brown. Woo. Bull Run. Okay. Marian Anderson. Machiavelli's The Prince. Wait. This is a great biography of the Beatles. Listened to the audiobook a long time ago and snapped this up when I saw it in a free box. It's a pretty nice hardback copy, though it has some library stickering. It's so compelling and interesting. The scene where Paul and John are jamming for the first time, and they're just like teenagers meeting after church. It's like so crazy. Wow, these guys are going to be like so famous and successful and widely known. Insane. Okay, this is some cool arts anthology. Wild style. Interesting. This is given to me by a cool friend. This was it from inside my CD box set of the Anthology of American Folk Music, compiled by Harry Smith. Very awesome box set. Going back to the '60s, very influential on the Greenwich Village music scene, and Dylan, and the only box set that I could sing along with every single song, and I love that so much. I still do, but my CDs are kind of scratched up. This is also from that box set. God, I've just spilled coffee on everything I own. Call me juvenile, but I love Godzilla. No, don't call me juvenile. Godzilla's freaking awesome. He's like thematically very, very rich. I want to watch all those movies. I've watched all of the original era of them, and I'm working my way through all the other ones. It's a fascinating thing. I mean, you could write dissertations on Godzilla and what it expresses about the atomic world scene, etc. I mean, it's really fascinating. And that the U.S. and Japan are the two countries making Godzilla movies, and Godzilla is like this nuclear parable. It's like two groups revising the narrative from different perspectives, Super interesting. And there's so many levels and layers to it all. And if you watch those old ones, they are some of the best examples of miniatures you'll ever see. Like, the effects are just incredible. Like, the craftsmanship. And everyone makes fun of the rubbery suits and stuff. But even those, the creature design is incredible. They did a lot. Suitmation was a choice. Stop motion existed. And they were trying something else, and I think it was very effective. And the effects only get better, and the creature designs get better in every generation, of course. But anyway, this is a cool thing. My kids gave it to me as a gift. My daughter Anodyne sold her cell phones, some old cell phones, at a like one of those kiosk things that buys electronic waste at grocery stores. And then she used the money to buy this for me and just gave it to me. Isn't that nice? What a nice kid. Okay, I can't even remember where I found these. Some free box, I think. But they're beautiful, and now I have to read them and learn about circles. Same with solid models, I guess. Dang. Heck, I'm sure it's interesting. This is from a very cool, what do you call it? Art exhibit I went to in California a long time ago. And it was so many tiny little photographs documenting a time. It was a little bit like that work Memory from the 70s. Who did that? That poet, what's her name? It was very cool. I like how it folds out. Oh, this is a cool book. This is an out-of-print film-by-film summary of Chaplin's films. I love Charlie Chaplin. He's great. There was a Charlie Chaplin Film Festival here in Albuquerque, and I went with either my friends or my kids to almost all of it. And I was like, this guy's the greatest actor that's ever freaking lived. He does more with like a quarter square inch of his face than anyone does in their whole performance. You're like, whoa. He's much more than just like a clown character. And he made really amazing films that had valuable social commentary. An old housemate of mine had this book, and I fell in love with it. It's so good. Check it out. FLOH. German for flea, because all these photos came from a flea market. This book is incredible. In this cool literary hipster house I used to live in Boston, we would do writing exercises where we all had to write stories based on these photos. My housemates were so cool. These guys are all awesome, and they had a band. Lived in this 1896 house in Boston. It was so rad. But this is from Tacita Dean, FLOH. This is an invaluable and mysterious book. I love it. I'll just sit with it sometimes, look through it. American Roots Music. This is a really cool book. I read this book. From long ago. Let's see. Yeah, I love stuff like this. I'm so unhappy with the light and shadows on this stuff. I guess this is just, what can I do? I'm in this apartment. Got the lights I have. I don't know. I'll experiment a little bit, I suppose, going forward. This is some ragged stuff, these videos. Good God. Okay. Horror. Connoisseur's Guide to Literature and Film. This looks good. Oh, cool. It's like alphabetized. Yeah, I've looked through this before. Yeah, I love stuff like this. It's great. I love horror. metaphor is cool. I mean, I don't read much of it, but I like evocative stuff. I like Shirley Jackson. Study of Maya art. Oh man, could you not be interested in stuff like this? Yeah, this book looks amazing, but I can feel the fragility of its binding. Wow. This is from inside a record box set of the writings and speeches of Abraham Lincoln. I don't know what happened to the records. Maybe my kids painted on them. But, you know, I remember listening to them once. I think I just gave them away. It's kind of cool. I guess I'm interested in Lincoln. Seemed like a pretty all right dude for the most part. He did oversee some pretty horrible stuff sometimes, like the execution of a ton of Native American leaders. But I think it's good to study the best of his stuff, and maybe I'll write speeches sometime, so I should read The Powerful Oratory of Abraham Lincoln. The guy's famous for that stuff. And I bet I'd probably learn from it too. And also, I just kind of like how this book looks. It's like not a normal book, so it's part of a set. I like that. All right, here's a couple of Van Gogh books that I'm really happy to own. That slipcover contains both this, The World of Van Gogh, 1853 to 1890. Glare Central. So good. Wow. And it also contains this, The Mirror of History. H.W. Jansen, just this free essay. This is like one of the great books that I own. This was literally in a free box. What insane person put this in a free box? Haha, no one. Actually, I remember buying this now. I snapped this up at a thrift store. Oh man. This book is cool. I should just read this and just spend time with it. Van Gogh is so special to me. I really love the letters he wrote to his brother. I read the book Letters to Theo that collects them, and I was like, this is the greatest book about art I've ever read. And I feel energized and alive. Wow. Yeah. Teaching high schoolers, I had them write about something you consider art. That was the extra credit assignment I offered. And 2 different students mentioned Van Gogh. And whether they know him through TikTok or Starry Night posters or whatever, who cares? This artist from a long time ago was so powerful, he still affects people. It's crazy. It's awesome. I hate when people complain about that. They just know Starry Night from college posters and Target. It's like, who cares? Like, don't ever discourage people's love of art. It's a beautiful thing. You know, Vincent Price tried to like sell art packages through Sears. He did, and like really popularized art. I think that's a good cause. It's just like, we should appreciate art. Yeah, and then there's those believers. This was a long video. No one's going to watch this. All right. I had a bunch of other stuff to say, but I wrote it down. I'll say it some other time. All right. I'm still reading Nostromo. It's great. Rock and roll, everybody. Thanks for watching. The numbers keep going up. Now I'm watching all these great book channels. It's cool. I feel like I found a YouTube community a little bit. Bookshelf weirdos. I like to read. All right. Take care, everybody.